Today I'm at Serendipit Consulting, one of the top PR firms in Arizona, and they do some terrific work in the fitness space. Working with solid brands like Orange Theory Fitness and Cycle Bar, I've watched Serendipit double in size just in the last few years, expanding their space a few times over. And my guest on today's episode is Melissa DiGianfilippo. Melissa is the co-founder of Serendipit and the president of PR at the agency. Her mantra is, the harder I work, the luckier I get. I've personally known Melissa since 2013, and she's a definition of a hustler and knows how to GSD as well as anyone. Today, she's going to share with us some great PR strategies that fitness studios and independent gyms can start doing to grow their brand and business.
If you own a gym or you need a gym, this is your guy.
My name's Mike, and I help fitness studios that are ready to take action, work hard, and grow their studios. In this very saturated industry, there's tons of competition, but the opportunities are incredible. We'll cover the most common challenges in the fitness world and invite guests in the show that have learned to overcome them and share their strategies with you. This is the GSD Show. What's up, Melissa?
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Good. So I've heard so many great things about the stuff that you've been doing for some really great companies. I know you're working with some great brands like Orange Theory Fitness and Cycle Bar and just a lot of really great organizations that have it together. And I wanted to sit down with you because, you know, with what you and Serendipit seem to be doing for these fitness companies and just companies in general, it seems like you're really helping them take their brand to another level and really looking at PR in a very different way, right? How did you get started with Serendipit?
Yeah, so Serendipit's a full-service marketing and PR firm, and Alexis and I, she's my business partner, I think you know her. We started in 2008. I have a background in PR, and we just were really passionate about helping small businesses and now large businesses just succeed, and we wanted to do something different that maybe other marketing agencies couldn't and weren't offering because they were too big.
Right.
So Serendipit was born. Today we have 25 people, and fitness is a passion of ours. So we do have clients like Orange Theory, Cycle Bar, and a few others. But we also, have clients in other spaces too.
Right.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
So, and PR is one of those things I think bigger brands or bigger companies, maybe a few select local businesses, really understand the importance of and put a good amount of attention to it. A lot of smaller local businesses, though, maybe just they don't get it, or they don't even understand the value of how important it still is today. Bill Gates says if he was down to his last dollar, he would spend it on PR. Have you heard that quote before?
Oh yeah, of course.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I think it's true. I think a lot of people confuse, to your first point, PR with advertising. They're two totally different things.
So what is define PR for the person?
So PR is a strategic communication process that ties really two audiences together. It takes a brand and it ties it to their key publics in a positive way. So PR is media relations, it's crisis management, it could be event coordination, community partnerships. Advertising is when you purchase a placement.
Okay.
PR is editorial, so it's unpaid editorial coverage. And why I believe in what Bill Gates said is that PR is just so much bigger than one marketing tactic like advertising. It is a storytelling process. So you have the opportunity to connect with your audience on so many different levels through PR that it really is one of the most cost-effective ways to build brand awareness, and it can drive leads immediately in some cases too.
So talk about when you say like media relations, crisis management, for the person that's not watching, so save them a Google trip.
Yeah.
Tell me what that means.
Sure. So media relations is when we're actively pitching stories to Fox 10 News or USA Today or your local newspaper. We're pitching story ideas to put you as the business owner in the mix of the news.
Okay.
So pushing out your news proactively. That is probably the most common tactic in public relations. But PR can also be managing crisis. So let's say you're a gym owner and someone dies at your gym. I mean, extremely scary, but can happen. Managing that, what that looks like to the media.
Because there's going to be a lot of news about that, right?
and of course, you're the owner, and it's stressful to be in that situation. So there is a way that you can handle that, through PR. Also, community relations, so building goodwill. Finding organizations that are maybe charitable and partnering with them, that's a tactic of public relations as well.
So what are some other examples of like crisis management that you've seen happen before, other than like somebody dying? Is it like lawsuits or?
Okay, that can be anything. It could be maybe a business is merging with another. That can sometimes be potentially perceived as a crisis. It could be, shutting down one location. That anything that really affects how your customers are going to perceive you and the success of your business could be seen as a crisis. It doesn't have to be as critical as a death.
Right. Now, hiring an agency like yours that obviously is already extremely well connected to a lot of these outlets, right? Whether it's at Fox or whether it's with certain magazines and newspapers and stuff like that. Obviously, that's kind of a shortcut to be able to get right to the main person you need to talk to, and also be able to handle the process effectively the way the people on the other end want the process to go, right? 'Cause that's an important part.
Yeah.
You don't want to annoy the people you're pitching to,
Absolutely.
but you can unknowingly if you're doing it the way they don't like it to be done, right? By pitching stories. But, obviously there are some things that going with an agency are going to be great to do, but let's say you're just starting out and you can't really go with an agency just yet. What are some things that, like, right off the bat, it's just really simple for somebody to get their hands around?
Yeah, I think number one, identifying what your story is. So why are you unique? What can you offer that maybe someone else can't? Let's say your goal is to be on TV.
Okay.
So first step, defining that story, defining that angle, and then understanding what visuals. TV is really visual. Actually, all media is pretty visual today. So what visuals can you offer? Putting together a pitch that's really unique, that is quick to the point, outlines the meat and potatoes of the story, the visuals, the interview, and then getting on your local news website and finding a general contact. I say that's the best way for just someone who's not using a PR agency.
Okay.
Definitely never annoy with phone calls. The media hates phone calls.
So how do you pitch? Like, what's the easiest way that's not?
So email is great. Also, there's lots of methods like Haro, help a reporter out, that just business owners can use.
Just Haro.com.
They can, I believe, they can subscribe to that, and that gives them, media requests where they can just proactively respond. The media in general does not like to get unsolicited phone calls unless it's breaking news. Okay. So we, of course, have relationships at Serendipit, and most agencies do, that maybe affords us the ability to call and text some reporters. Okay. But in general, email is more well received. Social media can be good sometimes too. You don't want to harass, you don't want to send private messages, but public tweets with ideas sometimes. Some reporters are okay with that.
So if you're gonna, let's say I want to get on Fox, who would you address the email to? Like, is it like is there a contact that you should be asking for, or like the position that you should be asking for, so you can send an email to that person? Yeah,
a producer is always who you want. Reporters or anchors are rarely the person to go to. Sometimes they are, but a producer is great, and depending on what kind of story you have. If you have like a fluffy, feel-good story that might be good for the morning news, you want to ask for the morning show producer, try to find that contact. If it's a hard breaking news evening, you would want the evening producer.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I know you're a big fan, and you've recommended to me several times Newsjacking.
Yeah.
Right? And so that seems like it's something that's a little simpler to kind of dive into. But obviously there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do it. So just explain, what is Newsjacking? Why is it so awesome? And what's like an example?
Yeah, I'm obsessed with Newsjacking. I've told you for years. And the reason it's awesome is there are so many stories going on nationally at any given time that are the top Google searches. The Olympics is one. The election is another. It's figuring out how you can play into those major trends and find a local angle for your business that you can be a subject matter expert on. So for a fitness brand, let's say you want to build a swimmer's bod like in the Olympics, or you want to what's the best Olympic recovery? Maybe you do a top 5, pitch angle for that Olympic recovery. That gets you in, when you pitch that angle to the producers, that's a hot topic for them right now, anything Olympics related. Okay. Another idea, just actually was talking to my team about earlier, was for Orange Theory, what can we do about election stress? Maybe there's something with workouts and election stress. It's figuring out, again, how to take those stories. Now, there are some national stories that are going to be perceived as negative that you don't want to jump on. You don't want to jump on a shooting, a terrorist attack. There's things that you've seen brands make those blunders, and they've jumped in those stories and done things wrong, and you want to avoid that at all costs.
But if the guy from Wolverine. I don't remember the actor's name. What's the guy's name?
You're asking the wrong girl.
He's a big time guy. I'm blanking on him right now,
Okay.
but I know that a lot of people were like Googling his workout because he got in like the best shape ever for
exactly.
Wolverine.
And so it's finding, okay, so that's highly Googled right now. People are checking in about it. They want to know about it. How can your gym offer that workout? And how can you show it on TV?
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. We're going to cut for a second just so I can get this angle.
Hugh Jackman. I like totally do that.
Oh, you know what? We may keep this. Just keep that part. Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman. All right. I'm coming back here after that. Okay. Ready? So fitness studios usually have like a particular demographic, right? Like a CrossFit may have a different demographic than even another CrossFit. These guys are going after more competitive athletes, and these guys are really looking for the everyday person. But CrossFit may have a very different demographic than a Cycle Bar or a Fit Body Boot Camp or, Orange Theory Fitness, because they're all targeting kind of different things. But for the most part, they're going to be going after people that are really looking at wellness, and there's the same people that they're targeting. Other people may also use them as a target audience, like a massage therapist or a physical therapist or anything in that realm. Do you recommend developing, is that part of PR, developing relationships with people that share the same target audience and doing like guest blogging or videos or anything like, or even like this or anything?
Absolutely. And the reason is, why wouldn't you tap into a network that shares a similar audience if you guys can find a way to mutually benefit each other?
So if you own a gym and a chiropractor in the same shopping center,
and then it's a natural referral source, as long as you're helping each other by providing some kind of content or some unique something, a gift, a referral gift, something that you can share, and suddenly you're sharing and referring back and forth. We do it all the time for Orange Theory. That's something we're working on for Cycle Bar right now. And for some gyms, like you said, some CrossFit, they are always looking hyper local. So there may be some national brands that make sense for businesses to partner with, but really it's finding in that 1 to 3 mile radius around that studio, are there locations, are there health and wellness brands, are there doctors that make sense for you to go in and build that relationship? It takes time for sure, but if you can get them to cross promote with you on social media, if you can get them to guest blog for you, if you can guest blog for them, maybe do promoted email blasts with each other, share news stories. Why not? Why wouldn't you both think of some trend that you can offer, and all of a sudden you have 2 sources to go on Fox News with?
Now, I'm a big fan of guest blogging. I've guest blogged for other people and it's benefited me. I've had people guest blog for me and it's benefited me. For anybody that doesn't understand what guest blogging is, can you just explain what guest blogging is and how to do it effectively and what you can probably expect from it, especially over time?
Sure. I mean, guest blogging is when you have someone else that it can offer some kind of expert opinion that makes sense for your readers blog on your site, or you're doing it for someone else's site.
So if you own a fitness studio, having a chiropractor guest blog for you.
Yep, on like 5 ways to decrease your neck pain after a workout or back pain after a workout. Yeah, tips
or just to keep your back healthy when you're starting a new workout plan.
Exactly, yeah.
Like
tips that, make sense for your audience. They don't feel spammed, because what you should be doing, as you know, is, pushing that blog out to your audience regularly. So through an email blast and your social media networks. Sharing that, and then you would hope that the person who's contributing that blog, that they would also be pushing it out from your website, that link to their network. So that's just an amazing opportunity to drive more qualified traffic to your website.
Well, because they're working hard to get an audience. You're working hard to get an audience.
Why
There's
not
probably
share?
a very little overlap. Yeah, exactly. If you can get your stuff in front of them, it just makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, and we do the same thing in PR. We do Bylines Content. So that's when, let's say there's a trade magazine, or Entrepreneur actually is a great example. Every entrepreneur's dream is to be an Entrepreneur magazine, right? Maybe too big for some people, but you can actually contribute content if you're an expert source to Entrepreneur. So let's say, a gym can offer some unique way that they incorporated products and sold products in their studio, fitness products, supplements. Right. They could contribute an article about that, and all of a sudden their content's in Entrepreneur magazine on their website. So that's shared. It's amazing.
Russ Perry's a mutual friend of ours, got to write or got a piece written about him in Entrepreneur magazine like months after starting his business. So it's not really plug for you at Design Pickle, but it's but it's obviously something that if you just like the personal trainers that are training and coaching their clients, they're asking their clients to do the same thing that they should be doing for their business, which is get outside of your comfort zone, do stuff that you're not used to, even if you may not like it at first. Eventually, you'll start getting the hang of it, and you start seeing the benefits of it.
Yeah.
And it may not be comfortable to reach out to people in the very beginning, like a chiropractor down the road, and ask if you'd like to write for you or vice versa. But
it's so worth it. I mean, why wouldn't you
it.
you have to take that extra time. It is time consuming. We do it for a lot of our clients, and it's very time consuming, but it's so beneficial. So now all of a sudden we have like an Orange Theory grand opening, and we have all these amazing partners who are willing to be there and have tables and promote and put stuff in the goodie bags, and we're cross promoting on social media. It's amazing.
I believe fitness studios, local fitness studios, have a really cool advantage over somebody like even myself. To get regular opportunities to be on TV like a Fox News and stuff like that, because they contribute content that is really appealing to the masses. Felicia Romero is somebody that we had as a guest on the show. I don't remember what episode, it's like 5 I think or 6, but Sam just put it up on the screen. But she gets on TV regularly, but she does it by pitching really cool, unique stories. I think one of them was pre-workouts. What can you do? What can you eat before you work out or after workout? And then, how there was one thing she did is like kind of to put things into perspective. If you want that slice of cheesecake,
what you have to do to burn it
off, right? And then she had all different foods laid out. And somebody like me, who obviously I don't appeal to the masses, right? Because most people don't own a fitness studio, right? But most people do want to be in better shape and be healthier. So they have a real good advantage, but I think a lot of them just see getting on TV as very far-fetched. So what are, like, other than the ones I just kind of mentioned here, what are some like cool ideas or spins that you think would be easy to pitch and just to kind of get wheels turning? I'm sure they'll think of 50 more once you get some momentum for them.
Yeah, I mean, the media always likes lists. So like top 5 things you can do, top 10 things to avoid. That's always pretty trendy. Anytime you can offer visuals, I can't tell you how your pitch could be not super amazing and you have great visuals to go with it, and it'll get picked up. Pictures, and then also at your fitness studio, or you can bring stuff into the TV station. Fads are always big. The water diet was huge for a while. We got Orange Theory, an amazing piece on the water diet. I mean, they don't do anything with the water diet at Orange Theory. Yeah. But we took a fad and we...
What's the water diet?
Something where you drink water and it like supposed to, I don't know. But
you probably lose a lot of weight just drinking water.
Yeah, exactly. I was sure I would assume you would.
I don't know if it's good.
But we did a story about like how drinking cold water can help you burn more calories, and it actually got picked up and it was great. So it's going off those trends and fads. And then top 5, telling cool stories about your customers actually is really beneficial. We had one of the Orange Theory studios. We had a family, a 12-year-old, who actually was walking by when one of the first Orange Theories opened here, and he walked in and said, "I want to join." And they were like, "Well, you need to get your parents," And he went home, convinced his mom he wanted to get in better shape. So the family actually joined and got fit together, and it was such a cool, heartwarming story. The family all came in, interviewed, very unique, and it was picked up by everyone.
Really?
So telling your customer a story.
And that probably happens all the time. People don't even think about that being an opportunity.
Use your customers. They're your best salespeople. Also, PR is so, when it's genuine like that, it's so believable. I mean, you can't take out an ad to say that. It would never be believable.
Right. Now, you use social media in a very different way than I do. And I'm sure there's a little. I think so. Yeah. I mean, because you do stuff like contests and like promotions, or you share, like you said, you're a storyteller.
Yeah.
I'm not so much of a storyteller. I'm more, provide things that I think people want, and then that I attract them differently. But what are some, people I think are always looking to post things on social media. They're always thinking, no, you do something that I know it's like a content calendar, right? Yeah. We'll talk about that too, but I think the way most people do it is they go, okay, I know I need to post today.
They just come up with something last minute. And
and it's like a meme, or it's like a funny thing, or whatever. There's no real strategy to it. But when you think about, okay, I want a strategy, I want to use social media. This is a beautiful thing where I can get in front of a ton of different people that are in my target market. I can share a story through video, through pictures. It's just so great. And they're just scrolling through, looking for stuff to look at, right? What are some ways a fitness studio can use social media outside of, let's say, just Facebook ads in order to really get their message out there, or to drive more business?
Yeah, I mean, it's what you said, it's having a strategy. So if you're thinking that day of what post you're going to put up, you're not being strategic.
Right.
So it's tying in. I guarantee you're doing a lot of things as an owner. You maybe have small events at your studio or with someone else. You're doing other grassroots promotions. It's finding a way to tie all those things into social media. So building content that's genuine, that is real, that people want to read, see, hear about. So tips are always great. Referencing articles that show that you're credible. So if you're featured somewhere, referencing that. Referencing big articles from maybe big fitness sources.
Okay.
Contests are great if you can find a way to get people to actually create content for you. So video contests.
What's like a
picture
video
contest, like getting someone to say why maybe you're willing to give away a year free membership, if to one deserving person, if they nominate a family or friend who deserves a year of free of fitness membership to get in shape. So you get people on camera being passionate, talking about why you're my best friend and you need to get in shape.
Wow,
and
that's
why,
actually a really great idea.
Well,
Yeah, that's what you get great ideas and help businesses.
But getting people to create that content for you is so valuable. They're sharing it with their friends. You put a voting component in place of it. Use a third-party app to host the content so you can collect email addresses.
What's like a good example of like an app for that? Am I giving away? You don't have to give it away.
No, it's not that I don't. I truly, my team totally handles that, so I couldn't even tell you. I could yell across the office right now.
What would you Google to find that app right now? Just so that they can
just like Facebook contest apps would be great.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can give you names later, and you can put them up somehow for people to find them.
Okay, cool. Sam will put it up.
Yeah. So I think that's really good. But it's really being strategic and tying all of your marketing efforts into social media. It's not like they should all be so separated.
Right. And one of the things.
One more thing. Facebook Live.
I was just about to ask you about that. Well, because you wrote a blog. You have a really great blog.
Thank you.
Sam just put the URL for their blog up too. But if you go to serendipit.com and your
serendipitconsulting.com.
serendipitconsulting.com, put that up there. Then you'll be able to find the blog as well. And you have some really, really good stuff on there that really helps all types of businesses. But everything I was reading really helps fitness studio as well because it's relative. One of them is why Facebook Live is killing it. Hashtag killing it.
Yeah.
Right. So tell me about Facebook Live because I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
So how can people use it more? Because I think people want to use it. They just don't even know if it. I think a lot of it's in their heads. Is it going to be interesting? Yeah. Because they can't prepare. They can't go backwards. It's done.
Yeah.
So how can you use it?
So, so many ways. As a fitness studio or as a trainer or owning a fitness brand, you have so much knowledge that you can offer to your audience and they want it in the moment. So like getting on and doing it, can you imagine every morning to your Facebook followers, if you got on and you said, 1 minute to start your morning, and you got on and got them through like a 1 minute fitness routine, 5 minute fitness routine to start your morning, you just kick it off for them. All of a sudden you're offering valuable content. They're gonna regularly subscribe to you. And that video is now video content that you can use in many other places.
Because it stays even after you're done.
And you can use it, you can use it in multiple places.
Download it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are nervous that it's not going to look good, but in my opinion, organic, real video content sometimes is so much more valuable than that like highly produced, expensive stuff.
Well, because they're expecting it too. The audience isn't expecting a Pepsi commercial.
No, they want something real. So if you can set up a tripod or do a selfie video, then set it up, and you can do push-ups and you can do the workout right along with your audience.
Right.
So valuable. Or you can lead someone else through it on Facebook Live, demonstrating. I think that's great. Motivational tips. We've had clients that actually use it as a Q&A session. So, hey, I'm new to CrossFit. What do I need to know? I'm scared. So you get people actually posting questions while you're on Facebook Live. You're answering the questions.
Live.
One thing to do too as a business owner that will help you feel better, and you may be nervous that no one's going to ask questions if you host a Q&A, so stage a few people in there. Why not?
Right.
Get a few friends to jump on, ask questions to get the ball rolling.
And also you can have a good idea. If you have 7 you can see how many people are on.
Absolutely.
If you see 7 people are watching right now and you don't have anybody staged ready, maybe asking a question is not a good thing because you may not get a lot out of it. But if you see 20 or 30 people are watching right now, and that's been pretty consistent for the last few minutes, you're probably going to have a good success rate if you ask a question.
Totally, but what I was saying is more like if you lined up a Q&A, like you said, I'm going to host a Facebook Live that's a Q&A on everything you need to know about CrossFit, and you market it like a Q&A,
Got it.
preparing in advance just to have a few people in there.
So the good questions are there.
Yeah, exactly, and just so that you're not stuck.
Right,
Yeah.
and it's not something,
Yeah.
very specific, like I have fibromyalgia, how can, and it's
No.
like no one else watching has.
Exactly. Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
To help inspire, the people that are watching, what are some fitness studios or fitness companies that you think are actually doing PR and this kind of stuff really, really well, so they can start keeping an eye out for them and start, I guess, not necessarily following their lead, but I guess inspiring them so they can come up with some stuff too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Orange Theory killed
Orange
it.
Theory and Cycle Bar are probably doing some really cool things.
Cycle Bar is about to be killing it. And, and that at a local level, for sure. I mean, we've done the PR for Orange Theory for maybe 5 years, and it's that's great. Nationally, Peloton is a brand that I am super impressed with from their national PR. I mean, now
That's the bike that you
That's
have.
the bike. So their PR is amazing, number one. They have TV commercials. So they have a full campaign. Then they're targeting the right people. They're spending a lot of money on social media, targeted ads. They targeted me it only took them 2 weeks, and I bought a $2,000 bike.
And I just saw David Berg's wife.
Yep, and I'm referring everyone.
And I notice everybody that buys a bike posts about the bike.
It's amazing. I mean, I still love my local fitness classes, so I still go to Cycle Bar, still go to Orange Theory, but having that at home was something that I've always dreamed of. Just when I'm
you have kids.
2 little kids.
Yeah.
So that's really nice, but they did it right. They have they tie all of their marketing efforts together. So I get a Facebook ad, I see them on TV, I see a friend post about them, I see a commercial. I mean, it's crazy.
Right, cool.
Yeah.
The people that watch this show obviously have a hunger for learning, or else they wouldn't be watching the show, because there's nothing, I mean, this is really boring if you don't want to find ways to improve your business, right? Like my son doesn't want to watch this show.
Yeah.
He's 9, he could care less. But people that are watching have a real hunger for learning and finding ways to improve their business. With that, I'm assuming a lot of them are pretty avid readers too. And sometimes, I'm an avid reader, but I get books because somebody tells me to read a book, because I understand that you've probably read it, you understand that space really well. If you think that book's really great, it's got to be great. So with that said, what are some great books that you can recommend to people that maybe want to understand PR a little better? What are great books to kind of get them kick-started?
Sure. I like The New Rules of Marketing and PR by David Meerman Scott.
Okay.
That's kind of a good basic one.
Can you put that up, Sam?
Yeah, that would be good for people to buy. And then personal favorite is You Can't Not Communicate by David Grossman. I actually interned for him.
Really?
He's out of Chicago when I was in college. Absolutely amazing thought leader in the space. And that one's more about, just the best way you can communicate. And I think that's great for business owners. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much it. You have a ton of stuff on your blog. So anybody that's watching right now, definitely get on the blog and check out what Serendipit's doing. Follow them on social media, because you guys have a lot of really great content that I've learned a lot from. That's the reason you're on this show.
Oh, thank you.
Is because I feel like you guys understand the game way better than anybody else that's in that game. So, follow their stuff, keep learning a little bit more about them, and then it's just serendipitconsulting.com if you guys want to learn a little bit more, and I'm going to keep following you.
Cool.
Like a stalker, but it's okay.
Yeah,
You
you
have
do
good
you.
stuff. Just
You
stop
do you.
stop putting up good stuff. You want me to go away. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us today. If you liked this episode, then subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Stitcher, and to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode. You can get all the links by going to thegsdshow.com. Thanks, and see you next time.